So this is Dr. Jennifer Freed with another In Your Element, and it's all about featuring exceptionally powerful leaders and asking them deeper questions about their elemental self so you can learn to love them more. And today I'm thrilled to have Erica Chidi, who is a doula, an educator, an author, and the founder of LOOM to empower women through inclusive, anti-racist, and trauma-informed knowledge about their sexual and reproductive health. She's also a great anchor for the Goop podcast. Welcome, Erica.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Well, I'm so happy to talk to you. Do you want to tell anybody how to reach you or how to get more involved with your projects?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Erica Chidi, and you can find more about Loom at Loom HQ on Instagram or www.loomhq.com.
Many of my friends are already fans of yours, so they're going to love to get to know you more. Okay, the first question is a fire question. Erica, what really fuels your inner fire? What gets you going?
I think what fuels my inner fire is really making the world better for women and helping them be able to better understand their bodies. That's basically my sun up, sun down. I think working as a doula and working as an educator for, over a decade, I've found that work really continues to light me up every single day, especially now with the rollback of Roe v. Wade. Education about our bodies is even more important. It's even more of an intervention, even though that's what I've always, believed. And so that's what gets me fired up.
And then with all the fire and also the outrage lately, how do you stay grounded? What are your grounding practices?
I stay grounded because I've been in this fight for a really long time. The rollback for me was not a surprise. It was still devastating to see it finally in the news and in the press, but, the rights have been stripped back and slowly it was one little chip at a time. So I've been grounded just because I have always been thinking ahead. But grounding practices for me, I have a really strong meditation practice. So I start the day that way every day. I also use a tuning board, which is this device that I kind of stand on that kind of works with proprioception. That's really relaxing. I like walking, love walking. I also really love listening to music, and I like pacing, which is also another version of walking, but I like to pace when I'm doing things to help me stay organized in my brain.
I am impressed with all of your grounding practices. You really thought that through. Okay, the air question is, what is one of the guiding principles of your life?
That life is short and we need to acknowledge that, and that we're not going to be here that long. And so every day needs to be lived with this understanding of that. So really trying to find a little bit of joy and expansion every day is really important, but at the same time holding the difficulty and the reality of the fact that all of this is impermanent. So that's kind of my thing, is just, it's not that long. So
Let's
enjoy.
Get with it, people. It's happening now.
Now, yeah.
Well, this is a water question. What softens or melts your heart that just,
Baths.
Baths. So really actual water melts
Actual
your heart.
Which I'm very lucky to be able to have clean water and access to, and the ability to run a bath, because that, is a very much a luxury of the developed world. But I mean, it really is just a bath. Warm water, if I can just get in warm water, always pretty much settles anything for me.
Excellent. How do you approach things that you're super scared of? Because I know you're a change maker, groundbreaker. How do you deal with your fear?
I just have to kind of be with it a lot of the time. It's it's not really going anywhere. It's around, and I think just acknowledging it and trying to really find out what the fear is. Oftentimes I think fear is worse because we don't really name it. You're not really sure what it is. It's just like we make it really big and large. And sometimes it's actually really small, but because we're not like spending time with it, it's just taking up a lot more space. And so I think I'm just with it most of the time. And also, like, again, it goes back to the principle of just like, we're not here that long, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, how bad is the worst thing? How long will it be bad for?
Yeah. So you do a reality test on it. And we have a phrase in social emotional learning called name it to tame it. And it's exactly right. If you are able to say exactly what you're feeling and nuance it, it actually helps move the feeling. So that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. What would have been your financial advice to you at 16? Like if you could go back and tell her at 16, what would you tell her about money and finance?
I would have said to save, obviously, which I kind of have always not done a terrible job at. But I think if you're going to spend money on things or clothes, like actually spending more money and buying things that are classic that you can have for a long time, is important. Like buy less, spend more on the buying less, and have experiences. I still practice that way. I'm very like I'm pretty like a lot of me doesn't change that much. I've kind of had a lot of like what's the word I'm looking for? Consistency. Like I still kind of do the same thing. I love spending money on ingredients and food and cooking, and I love experiences. I don't buy a lot of stuff, but the things I do buy, I really love. But yeah, just less excess. You don't need that much stuff. That's kind of what I would say to her.
Okay, next question. How do you tap into your best creative ideas? Because you really do live in the world of badass ideas. How do you tap into them?
Time alone.
Oh, say more about that. What do you do when you're alone?
It's just I need unscheduled, uninterrupted time by myself. It's really important. I know that now more than anything. It's like the most precious time for me is when there are like no interruptions. So it's really just not knowing I'm not going to be interrupted, I think allows my brain to expand and think and do those things.
Okay, last question. When you say, I love you, what do you mean by that?
I think when I say I love you, I was really just talking about this last night. When I say I love you, I'm like being conscious of like what I love for you. Like I want to see your dreams come true. I want to see you expand. I want to see you happy. It's like that idea of like compersion. Like I really get joy out of seeing someone else get joy. So that's kind of like, I would like that for you. Or can I bear witness to that? Or can I contribute to that? Like, that's exciting for me.
That's a beautiful answer, Erica. Truly, that enlightened me. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah.
I want to say thank you for participating in Your Elements. And if you, audience, want to find out more about your elements and how to live a more fully expressed creative life, then go to jenniferfreed.com and pre-order the book, A Map to Your Soul. Okay, that's a wrap.